Hello everyone, we are here to do our favorite balls of 2021, balls that we reviewed on TruBall Reviews on the Ronald Hicklin Jr. YouTube channel. So we're going to be going through those, giving you our top 3 from each ball motion category, and then we're going to go ahead and filter that down to our top 5 balls of the year. What ball surprised me the most? Well, I have all the balls here. Probably the Proof Hybrid. Big fan of that ball. Definitely continuous, but still pretty strong. Something that I knew was actually going to corner. So that is definitely a ball that I would put up there. I wasn't really a fan of the Proof Pearl. I didn't throw the original Proof, but Proof Hybrid, definitely something I did not expect. And then just give you another one, probably the Knockout. Big fan of the Knockout too. Those 2 balls were actually 2 of my honorable mentions when it came to making my list. Ron made his own list. So those 2 balls were something that I just didn't expect. Didn't expect to make it into my top list. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let me get my list of my equipment here. Infamous is good. Nice, strong, continuous. Pretty good. That's another ball that I was surprised by. I'm surprised how good it was. So, yeah, it's good. So we're going to be giving you 3 angular, 3 continuous, and 3 traction balls. We have all of the balls that we reviewed throughout the year this year, and that total number was 58. So we had 58 balls that we reviewed this year. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you get over there and subscribe so you don't miss any of the future reviews. So let's go ahead and jump in to our angular pieces here. So for me, first on my list, in no particular order, is the Ripcord Velocity. I first threw this ball at Bull Expo, and I was pleasantly surprised by what I saw. So much so that when we drilled my Ripcord Velocity for our ball reviews at the EC, we just put a switch grip in it because I knew I was going to throw it after. So Ripcord Velocity for sure goes into the angular category. Pretty strong angular piece that it would be a good 2 or 3 ball in any arsenal. And then, of course, if you have questions about any of these balls, or really questions about any of these on our list here, don't hesitate to ask. So next on my list was the Incognito Pearl. I was a big fan of the original Incognito, and the Incognito did not disappoint. So again, another strong, asymmetric, angular piece. If you're building an arsenal with the Incognito and the Incognito Pearl, obviously have them at different surfaces, because if you have them at the same surface, they're going to be very, very close to each other. So if you have the Incognito with like 1000 grit and the Incognito Pearl with polish, with True Cut hand apply polish, you're going to get a pretty big difference of ball reactions. All right, so my last angular ball here is the UC2, Rubicon UC2. This ball I actually drilled for nationals. I don't go out drilling a lot of balls, but the UC2 is something that I wanted to add. I didn't have any angular pieces that I could get left with and really open up the lane, and the UC2 definitely filled that hole for me. So big fan of the UC2 for sure. I like the original Rubicon, so the UC2 was right behind it for me. So Ron, did you have any angular balls that are not on my list that you want to go ahead and add?
Angular balls. Man, you got all the balls up there. Look at that.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm trying to find my list actually, because I had a nice little pretty list here, but I could probably figure it out. I know I had the Dark Code. I know for sure that was one. Dark Code was dope in 2021.
Dark Code.
Yeah, Dark Code's dope.
There we go.
There we go. Dark Code. And then you know what? You put the UC2 up there. I like the UC2 as well. So I will say those two balls. Actually, you wanted me to have three, but bro, I didn't really feel that there was another ball personally that I would have said needed to be in that category. It's just for me.
Sure. Do you have any thoughts on the Dark Code? What you liked about it, or any particular thoughts?
Yeah, I think Dark Code is a typical Storm strong asymmetric piece. I think that ball was super clean, but yet still very responsive to friction. I think that's why that ball is so good. I think when we talk about companies, we talk about cover stocks, we talk about brands. I think Storm's best types of bowling balls, for the most part, tend to be the angular balls. And you look at how many balls they launched this year. They launched a lot of shiny bowling balls. I think that ball kind of stands out. I'm a little hesitant to add the Altered Reality from 900 Global, only because I haven't seen it enough. But I definitely think that ball has a lot of characteristics of a great angular type bowling ball. I wouldn't add it quite yet because, like I said, we haven't thrown it enough. But if I was gonna, add another one, that possibly could be one that I would add too, because I like that ball. Same thing with UC3. I think UC3 is a good ball too. So,
yeah, I think the Altered Reality, from what I've seen, has looked good, but it's too new at the time of recording this video to say it's great.
Right, and we only talking about greatness over here. We ain't messing with nothing else but the greatness.
Right. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the continuous balls. I'll start with this one, and my first on the list is the Scorpion. Again, another ball that we originally saw at Bowl Expo. Was a massive fan after seeing it, and I ended up getting one for myself, and it has not disappointed. I was missing a symmetric in my bag for sure, so this filled a hole that I had on my asymmetric arsenal. So I like this ball a lot for sure. You got one for me?
Of course, man. Obsession Tour, bro.
Yeah.
Obsession Tour. That was one of the better pieces, I think, for 2021. Hammer ball. They made two of them, Obsession Tour. I personally thought Obsession Tour was the better piece of the two. I think it was a good continuous ball, something that you could start with. You could read the lanes with really well. So I think that was a good piece.
Yep. And I will add my third and final. Who would have thought? The Pride.
You like that ball?
I like this ball a lot. Something that when I was doing the review for it, is like, whoa, this looks good. That feeling when you're watching ball motion and you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's exactly what I thought with this. Something that's going to be in my bag for a long time. That's the hope anyways, and might even drill a couple more of them. Who knows? Yeah.
Pride was in my list. That was one of my continuous balls in my list because I think it is a good piece. And I know you tested that ball and then ran out of the building immediately with it. So I knew you like it.
Oh, yeah.
So the one that's not on there that I got is actually Big Shim. I actually am a big fan of that ball. I drilled that ball. I threw it for a while, and it actually is in my tournament bag. It's very, very hard to get into my tournament bag, just because, I've got a very good tournament bag, and I think that, when new balls come out, they have to kind of earn their way in there. But that ball did earn its way into my tournament bag, and that means it's in the travel group, so that's good. But I do like that ball. I think it's a very good continuous ball from them.
Yeah, and I'll kind of add on to that. I was with Ron when he brought it back to the EC, and I saw him throw it for the first time, and his face doesn't light up about a lot of bowling balls, but this one is like, this is pretty good, and you can correct me if I'm wrong there.
No, you're spot on. It's hard to impress me when it comes to bowling balls. I mean, we've done so many of them, we've seen so many of them. It's very hard, but that ball definitely was like, this is legit. So that's why we did what we did with the staff, right? So we let the staff have an opportunity to be able to get that ball early, and be able to kind of, see it for themselves. And, we've got this whole reporting system going on where the staff is giving us feedback on the balls, and the reports are very positive as well. So definitely a plus for them there. And, just a benefit of being on staff with us. It allows people the opportunity to do some things that you would normally never get to do. We were able to work out a deal and get the balls, and the staff got the balls, and they liked them, and then that went really well, I think.
Yep, for sure. And this live stream is actually, the staff is being the first one to be able to see this. We are going to put this on YouTube at a later time, but staff gets the advantage of seeing it first. So we appreciate you being a part of the team and tuning in to listen to us tonight. So going on to the traction balls, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of hard to get 3 that I would for sure recommend as good traction balls, but my first on the list was the Obsession. Going along with the Obsession Tour, I think they complement each other pretty well. The Obsession Tour does have the lower diff, and of course the Obsession has the higher diff. So you could use the Obsession on the fresh and then the Obsession Tour as they begin to break down. So that one is my first one on the traction list. You got one for me?
No doubt. I'm going to add Jackal Legacy to that group. I think Jackal Legacy was a good piece. I think that was a good piece from Motive. That definitely fits the category of traction and strong. That's the whole thing, right? Traction balls they're earlier. They can be lazy down lane, or they can be just big hook. And I think that the Jackal Legacy kind of follows the option of big hook. So fan of that ball for traction.
Yep, I agree with that one. Yeah, the thing I liked about the Jackal Legacy was it was early, but it still continued pretty well down lane from what I saw out of that ball. So big fan of that ball too. I'll go ahead and put another one on the list. 900 Global Reality. I know a lot of the college teams that are sponsored by SPI are throwing the Reality on the fresh, and I did like this when I threw it in the review. So this one will go into my traction category.
I thought Radical Maximum Results, and I thought that was a good piece too. That's more of the earlier earlier, but not the necessarily huge hook. It just was earlier, stronger type ball reaction, which I think, like I said, that embodies what traction really is. So I think that ball did a really good job of demonstrating that shape and that motion.
Yep, I agree with that. I think the Maximum Results is, in my opinion, the best results since the original one. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So I did like what I saw of the Maximum Results as well. So I think we got a good little list of balls here. Did you have any sort of honorable mentions, balls that didn't make the list that you were kind of iffy about?
Well, I mean, like I said, that Altered Reality was one of those ones where like it could fall into the angular category. It could end up being one of those balls that makes the list. You just need a little more time with it, I think. Quantum Evo Solid wasn't terrible. Those two kind of just like stand out in my mind a little bit. I want to ask you something. This was going to be a little bit tricky because this one is one of them curve balls. Let me ask you this: in your opinion, what bowling ball did you have super high hopes for, and it disappointed you?
So actually, one of the staffers asked that earlier.
What'd you say?
Here it is. Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. So my answer was the Legion Pearl. I was a big fan of the Legion Solid, but obviously completely different balls, completely different manufacturers now. So I was like really, really hoping it was going to be really good, and I was wrong. What about you?
Man, so I think High Road Max or actually Widow Ghost. I really had super high hopes, especially for Widow Ghost off of 2.0. I don't think Ghost hit the mark there. Just from what I saw and the shapes that I've seen from that ball. And then the High Road Max, same kind of thing. Obviously High Road, you're thinking it's gonna be a home run guaranteed. That ball's discontinued. So not just those are probably the two balls that just immediately stuck out to me. I tell you the one that surprised me. That was probably better than I kind of anticipated was Power Torque. I think Power Torque was one of those balls that was a good ball, but nobody kind of thought it was going to be a good ball. So, it kind of goes a little bit both ways. And sometimes you don't come in there with expectations, but there are some times where there are some expectations. So those balls kind of fit those categories for me, I would say.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So now we will move on to our top 5 lists, ranked best ball of the year to the 5th best ball of the year. You can go ahead and get us started with your list, if you don't mind.
So we're gonna start at the bottom then.
Yeah, we start at the bottom.
Yeah. Jack of Legacy then for me.
All right. So my number 5 was the Obsession from Hammer.
All right. So 4 for me is probably Dark Code.
Dark Code. All right. And Scorpion will be my number 4. Scorpion. Oops. There we go. All right.
You're not gonna like this one, but Pride's 3 for me.
Oh man. All right. Well, I guess.
It made the list though. It could have not made the list. It could have been like the other 47 balls on the list.
UC2 is my number 3.
Okay. All right. Big Shim is my number 2.
Big Shim.
I like that ball, dude. That ball's good.
Yeah.
To be fair, it doesn't look like that picture. It doesn't look like that picture, but it rolls good. It definitely.
Well, this is the only picture I could find. So
no, that's the picture that they put out there, but that definitely it doesn't look like that. The ball don't look like that. At least the balls that I've seen don't look like that.
Right. My number 2, Obsession Tour.
Okay. So Obsession Tour is my number 1. So I don't know how you do that, Dustin. Good luck.
Well, we'll just leave it there.
All right, which I know what your number 1's going to be. So yeah, it's in the same situation, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do that. What is your number 1?
Pride.
So why don't we put Obsession Tour in 1 and put Pride in 1 as well? Because at least that, that's where they ended up at. So
there we go. That works. All right. Anything else you want to add to your list? Why you made the choices, and whatever other thoughts you might have.
I can talk a little bit about the choices, right? So basically, you've got 2 continuous balls for me up top, right? Because continuous ball motion is the one that is the most popular. It's the one that you can use to judge the lane. It's the one that you can use to use the longest. So I think that's why like the top 2 balls are continuous balls. The other ones, you got a traction in there, you got an angular in there. And I think that that's important too. You need to have 4 shapes. I think a lot of people, they get so confused and they allow themselves to just buy whatever's brand new instead of kind of really spending some time and focusing on what they need. And I think you really need to have all 4 types of ball motion: traction, continuous, angular, and obviously straight, which is a spare ball.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and sign off for the night again. We appreciate you all tuning in tonight to a staff exclusive live stream. Have a great rest of your night.